I think world over a casting director is the right hand for a director. The person needs to clearly understand the script, understand the character brief, and actually identify the actor that should be cast for the role. It's not about showing 200 options and hoping that the director is focused and clear enough to know what he or she wants. So, as the role that the casting director should play would be to actually know their actors well enough to be able to identify down to maybe the last two or three, and then at the audition itself be able to decide and give that one person to the director as the ideal casting. And I don't think that should change after that. So if you're in sync with your director, if you've understood the script, if you've understood your character brief, I think that's pretty much that would happen. As a casting director, I think the most important thing would be to get the narration, read the script, or get a character brief, depending on who the who the director is. They decide whether they actually want to send you the script, or they will just give you either a narration or a brief character sketch of each character. After that, I think what you basically need to do is to sit down and look at your database, or go through however you decide to do your casting. Go through the photographs, go through the resumes, shortlist, and then do the audition yourself, preferably. Not leave it to your ADs or the ADs of the director to do it, because otherwise what's the point of having a casting director? Almost 20 years ago, when I started on my own, there was no such concept. Not that I knew of the concept either, but yes, along the way, one did a lot of coordination, 10, 12, 15 jobs sometimes a day. And as the industry grew, I started with 50 people as my database. I have almost 65, 70,000. I don't even know. I haven't counted for a long time. But I think as with experience, one realized that also the number of people grew, the actors grew, the models grew, the age groups became much younger and older, the oldest being 80 plus, youngest being 3 months old as a child artist. And you realized, and there were of course a lot more coordinators doing the same thing, and you realized that your expertise was not really being used to its fullest. I also was doing a lot of international work, and I would watch the others. I did a couple of tie-ups with, there are other agencies in Australia, Iceland, Europe. I did it in Germany, in France, in the US. So I would interact with them a lot over Skype. I would travel, I would go meet with them. I would go through their databases, watch them doing their castings. And then I formulated my own way of starting being a casting director in India. And I also thought that since there was nobody else really following that format of doing things, I was pretty much left on my own to put it into some kind of space and a professional attitude, I think, which was kind of lacking, which still I feel is lacking to a very large extent, especially with the coordinators, because they just think it's, one phone call and you have sent somebody for an audition and that is the end of your job. And you charge a 20% and, that is not really casting. So I think that's pretty much how it started. And then on a daily basis, you realize what you're doing wrong or what others are doing wrong, and try and, put it into a format which is good for everybody, and yet get your job done in time. Actually, there are a lot of stories that one can share. I think what comes to mind could be probably story of when Ilahe, which is Nagesh Kukunoor's producer, had come to cast for Bollywood Calling. And we were sitting, at that time there were no computers, so we were going through pictures in the physical form. And she shortlisted a couple of people and said, okay, I'd like to, probably send you a script and you can do the audition for these girls. And I said, okay, and kept the photographs aside and made my list. And When I read the script and I said, you know, I think I'd like to add one more girl to this list. And she said, who? And I said, there is an actress called Parizad Zurabin. And she was like, no, no, I don't think she fits the look of the actress. And I was like, you know, we're testing maybe 7 or 8 people, so one more doesn't really, you know, matter, but let me call her. And she went on to do the film. We tested her as the last person to be tested that day. And she's the one that was cast. And I think what I like most is being, because I'm a very people's person, so I used to enjoy meeting people. What I dislike most is when there are newcomers which have come in and people misguide them and rob them of their confidence, rob them of their hope, rob them of their money. I think that is the most disappointing, and I've been watching this for 20 years. And that's the one thing that I've handheld most actors and models and tried to teach them that, you know, you will get work on the basis of your, of how good or bad you are. It's you, by paying money or by sleeping around, it's not going to necessarily get you the kind of work that you want to get. So if you work on your craft and you're confident and you're willing to learn and you're willing to work hard, I think even today, I think that is pretty much the formula. There is no other formula. Most people come and say, you are one of the oldest casting directors in the city, and can you tell me what is the easiest way to be a star? And I wish there was. You know, I think by now I would have been an extremely rich woman if there was a formula and I had that to give to people. But I think if you're confident and you believe in yourself and you have your craft and you work on it every day, very importantly, yes, I think that is the only way to make it. And the correct place, correct time. Meeting the correct people when they're casting for a project is probably the most important thing. So it's about meeting people all the time. It's not going to come to you. You have to go to it.